Hi everyone, it's Reverend Lucy coming to you from High Banks Metro Park in Columbus, Ohio again on this steamy day. It's quite steamy, hot, and humid, and so I'm taking a break, taking a rest to put my feet here in this lovely stream. The water is cool and crisp, and it feels really, really good and very comforting. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to record this message for you while I'm resting and enjoying the birds and the trees and nature and the water. It's all just heavenly. And so the message today comes as a message of support. Um, I want to talk about support. There's always self-care, taking care of yourself. Um, Although when you've taken the time to do that and you're feeling really rested and refreshed and good about things and in a balanced way, um, that I believe is time to then look out among others. Look at your friends, your neighbors, um, your coworkers, the people in your environment, the people who are around you, certainly your children, and to consider how can you support them. Thinking about and looking at ways to support others. And some of that could be in encouraging them to self-care. Um, that that can be an awkward place to be, though, because some people may not be able to hear the message. Anyway, let me back up just a minute and say you may notice people that could benefit from some support. And I think the question is, how do you offer support in a way, certainly, that it can be accepted? Whether the person accepts it or not is a different matter. They may not be ready, or they may be too focused on whatever it is that's going on, and so they may not be able to accept your support. But when they're ready, when they're available and open to it, how do you offer support? And I want to say that it could be as simple as just being with the person, spending some time with them and listening to them. I call that holding space. Just holding space for them to talk, to vent, to release, to let things out. And during that time, you're not judging. You're just observing, just noticing, and being with them. And so, not making any kind of commentary or any kind of judgments, or even offering any kind of advice. Um, Many people, I think, fall into that of wanting to, since somebody's talked about what's going on. Many people want to offer advice, they want to offer a suggestion, they want to tell the person what to do to fix it. And I think that's when we fall into a slippery slope. If the person hasn't asked for it, they may then get irritated with you. And certainly, a lot of times, what you may offer may not be anything that the person would even consider. So it's always, I think, a helpful place to be, where you just listen, you acknowledge the person. Perhaps you say, "Gee, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about for that? How do you think you can address it? What do you think might solve it?" So helping them to look at and come up with suggestions or ideas on their own, and that way you're more in helper mode instead of turning into telling them what to do mode, which is often not easily accepted or readily accepted. And so one way is just to be with the person and to hold space with them. And now, if the person asks, "What do you think?" I think that's fine to go ahead and offer an idea or a suggestion. Um, um, that's one way that you know that they're ready to hear, is that they ask you, "Oh, well, what do you think? I've just told you all of this. What do you think I should do?" And so that's a signal that they're open to hear what you have to say. But I would be ginger about that still, even though they're asking, because it's also important to honor the person and their journey, And if you tread too much onto decisions that are important for them to make for themselves, then it becomes a boundary issue where you're taking things over for them, and that's not really helpful either. But being supportive of people, once they've identified an issue that's going on and listening to it, you could also then ask them, gee, what could I do to help? How could I help you? Would it be helpful if I went to that doctor appointment with you? Would it be helpful if I drove you to that place? Would it be helpful if I went to the grocery and did some shopping for you for a while? Can I pick something up for you on my way? Offering. Oftentimes, a person who's in distress doesn't really know. They're so focused on the distress, they don't often know what would be helpful. So, if there's some things that you could offer and let them say yes or no, that may be helpful as well. So there's some ideas for how to support other people, but certainly reaching out, checking in, saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. How are you doing?" Those are ways to support people as well. This is an awkward time in our society across the globe, and I think it's a great time to reach out and be supportive of people, yet maintaining some distance so that they can take responsibility and certainly masteries or success or whatever you want to call that for addressing what's going on in their lives. Although it always feels good to be helpful. And I want you just to know that even just listening is a way to be helpful. So that's my message for today. Love thy neighbor, support your friends as you would want to be supported. That's my message. Bye for now.